This week on The Real Deal, we're going to talk about the finance clause. I frequently get told that it has to be 21 days, and I'm like, well, no, because a good broker can do it in 14 days or less, but it all depends on you and how prepared you actually are. Now, if you're looking to purchase a house, you really need to do a couple of things. Number one, you need to know what you can afford. You need to know whether or not the bank will give you the loan, and you need to have adequate savings and a good track record with the bank. In other words, you need to plan this long before you suddenly decide on a whim that you're going to go and purchase a property. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's far more likely that when you start having to jump through hoops, it's going to be a lot smoother and a lot easier if you're planning long ahead. So if you are a first home buyer, and I know many of you are that listen to this, please make sure that you do as your parents told you anyway, and you start saving. In fact, the best time to plant a tree was actually yesterday, but plant it today, it's better than planting it tomorrow. So start saving straight away. Put money aside, stop spending. Write down some goals and plan exactly more or less what you're looking for, how much you need, and then go shopping when you've got an adequate deposit and you know that you're not going to put yourself into mortgage stress. Now, the best thing to do is to sit down with a mortgage broker when you decide that you want to own a house. Not when you can afford to buy one, but actually a little bit ahead of it. So you can actually put the cart a little bit ahead of a horse and sit down, do the budget, get everything organized, have a preliminary meeting. And Brad Oliver, for example, he'd be very, very happy to do this with you. And then you can start the process of saving, working out what you need to do, working out the budget. And then, of course, when you've got a decent amount of deposit, you've got a good track record, you have a solid job, you're a permanent employee, great news. Then, of course, you sit down and you lodge your pre-approval. You go shopping with that piece of pre-approval. So when you put your offer in, if you come to me with that piece of paper and I know what you're good for, let me tell you that that piece of paper is very, very important. Most of you don't do that. You think, oh, it's private, it's confidential. I really don't care how much you earn. I don't care how much you own. I don't care how many properties you own. I don't care what car you drive. I literally don't care because I'm not interested. All I care about is making sure that I don't put my seller's property at risk because you are not pre-approved. We're in a multiple offer situation. We knock back 3 other offers, go with yours, but your offer doesn't actually mean anything because you simply don't have the finance, okay? That's why we do recommend that you get your ducks in a row first. You submit your offer with your pre-approval, all right? Great strategy. It's like in the old days when you wanted to buy a property, you'd attach a check to the contract. People don't do that anymore because of electronic banking, but it was always a great strategy. And in fact, I had someone do that the other day. He just deposited $100,000 into my bank account to secure a block of units even before the offer was accepted. I'm like, no, you really shouldn't be doing this. He's like, I want to do it because I'm showing my intent. It's like me filling out a cash check. So that is typically what we suggest you do if you are purchasing a property. Make sure you get your ducks in a row, make sure you save, make sure that you have a history of income and expenditure. And if you go shopping, have your pre-approval, put in as short a finance clause as possible, and you'll probably be in there with a great chance.